Uganda has always been known as the breadbasket for Africa. And for the most part, that is still true. According to the IPC analysis of September 2014, a whopping 89% of Uganda's total population classified as a minimally food insecure IPC Phase 1, meaning that their food security situation was stable. However, both the lack of rainfall in the northeast and the large number of refugees have posed a challenge to the country.
My thanks goes to our president, because I remember there was a meeting where I attended and he tried to ask us about how is the food situation. It was in May last year, and we told him that the situation is not good.
Currently, 2.6 million people, counting for 23% of Uganda's total population, still face high levels of acute food insecurity. Against this background, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Commander-in-Chief of the UPDF, together with the cabinet, tasked some of the government entities, that is, the National Enterprise Corporation, UPDF, Chieftaincy of Production and Welfare, CPW, NARO, NAGRIC, Uganda Prison Service and veterans, among others, to set up massive mega farms as a strategy to prevent any likely food insecurity in the country.
Really, Uganda should have no problem at all with food. When you hear that there is a problem, which is because of lack of sensitization. My advice, there are two areas of investment which I think are sure. One is commercial agriculture, because as long as people live, they will need food. And we need to make a distinction between what we call intensive agriculture and extensive agriculture.
The UPDF CPW, under the guidance and funding from Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, running with this mandate, embarked on commercial production of maize, soya beans and sorghum, the harvest of which would be bought by the UPDF itself using its business arm, National Enterprise Corporation, NEC, in order to be self-sustaining in terms of feeding its forces.
The leadership of UPDF saw that it's high time we put more effort on production and the welfare of the army. It has been there since when we came to power, 86, but it has not been very active. It was a directorate until when it was uplifted to the level of a chieftaincy. The chieftaincy has two directors in terms of structure, the director of production, which is manned by Colonel Kasoma Duncan, and the directorate of welfare, which is manned by Major John Bosco Kauchi.
We are here to boost food and feed production in Uganda at large, UPDF inclusive. So as we produce more and more, we shall avert the other problem of hunger.
So we are two directors. There is a director of production and there is a director of welfare.
The Chieftaincy of Production and Welfare, CPW, currently runs several large-scale commercial agricultural projects in the districts of Bulamburi, Nakasongola, Ibanda, Mubende and Chikube district.
The chieftains has quite a number of farms, but those which are active, they are 5.
We have one farm in Chikoiro where we keep cattle, goats and sheep. That's in Chikoiro, Nakasongola district.
Chikoiro farm inakutwa Nakasongola district, Wampanga sub-county.
In Chikoiro farm, we have cattle, we have goats and sheep. With the cattle, we have 85, 67 adult and 18 are calves. With the goats, I have 65, 51 adults and 14 are kids. With the sheep, I have 64, 50 adults and 14 are rams. Normally, we start a day by milking. My support staff help me in milking. While me, the vet practitioner, I always check the animals, whether there is something wrong. If there is anything wrong, I treat in order to prevent. After milking, animals go for grazing. The cattle go for grazing at around 7 or 7:30, always. Now goats, with the goats and the sheep, we leave them at around midday. It's normal, goats feed for only 3 hours. 3 hours is enough for goats and sheep to graze and browse.
We have another farm in Kata. It's called Kata Farm. It is located in Bulambuli district, after Mbale, and it is bordering with Kapchora district and Kweni district.
The farm is on 1,550 acres. We have 2 seasons here. For the first season, we can go with maize. For the second season, because it is short, we use it to plant soya to avoid the sunshine to affect our crops.
For this particular season, we have cultivated 1,022 acres of soybean, a variety called Maxsoy 3N. In the same land this season, we have managed to cultivate 175 acres of sorghum. As of now, we are in the process of harvesting soybean, which we planted in September. And hopefully, by the end of this month, we shall start on sorghum, which we planted in October.
Normally we use to begin with plowing, using a tractor. Second, we harrow, using harrowing to make the land smooth. Then the third one, we used planting. Planting also we are using tractor. It is only on weeding stage, we don't have a machine for weeding. We are using casual workers, manpower, local. And even this harvesting stage, it is the same. We are using casual workers to harvest.
Then we have a very big farm and very nice organized, and it is actually, we call it a baby.
Kabamba was established August last year, 2022.
Generally, the farm covers about 3,000 acres as of now, this season, and on that coverage we have sorghum and maize. as the main crops we have this season.
We had planned to grow 4,220 acres of maize, but because of the constraint of time, we have managed to grow 3,000 acres of maize. Then sorghum, in our initial plan, we had planned 1,280 acres, but we managed to grow 1,000 acres of sorghum. That is Kabamba alone.
The breeds we cultivated this season, there is a breed from Prisons and Naseko, that is sorghum, basically. Here, basically, we have 2 production seasons in a year, and this season we quite opened up late, but we managed to open up and we cleared the bushes using graders, and that followed by plowing the soils, and the soils were harrowed. From there, we went on to plant. We did the planting. It took us 3 weeks, and immediately after planting, as you know, it was raining so much, so the weeds, they were growing vigorously. Immediately we started weeding, and we also carried out pest control and fertilizer application concurrently to catch up with the time due to the scale. And basically here we have used machines, tractors, to do most of the work. As you can see, it is on a commercial scale. We try to minimize human labor and so much look at the mechanization part of it.
Another farm, it is in Bihanga. Bihanga is in Ibanda district. We have 550 acres. This season, we planted maize only.
This time around, Bihanga UPDF farm, we have planted 2 types of maize. We have this one, UH 53-55 maroon from Prisons. And we have this one, long 10 from Naseko, which also we planted. Those are the only two types we have planted, and the germination was very okay. It is 99% germination.
So we started with the land clearing, where we slashed, burning bushes, uprooting stumps. Then from there, after uprooting stumps, we started putting holes. Then from there, we planted seeds. Then after planting seeds, within a period of 2 or 3 days, we started spraying the weeds, such that the seeds can come up with no competition of weeds. When this maize was at the knee height, there was a problem of DC American bollworm, but we managed to curb it by using Striker and Dudophenos herbicides.
Another farm, it is in Kyangwali. Kyangwali is in Kikube district, just after Hoima.
By size, the farm is situated on 1,500 acres, but the cultivatable land that holds maize now is 1,120 acres. So the 1,120 acres you see are actually decentralized into blocks. So we have 7 blocks divided, each block under
a block supervisor. At the point where we see this maize, we are now looking at harvesting.
Those are the farms which are active as of now, and we are being funded by MAYIF through our Ministry of Defense. In terms of structure, each farm has an OC, officer commanding, either major or a lieutenant colonel. But you may, because of human resource gaps, you may find some are not majors or colonel.
That one takes charge of the whole farm. Then under him we have farm managers. Those farm managers are technical.
Like in Changwari, we have an OC who is a major, and we have a sergeant who is an agronomist and is the manager because of education. So being a sergeant and become a manager, it has no problem because he has his education and he knows what he's doing.
And below them we have block leaders. Those block leaders, they control blocks. Each farm we have 200 acres. Under 200 acres there is a block leader.
These blocks are not manned by military staff. We have military staff as block leaders, and we have civilian staff as block leaders.
We always want the people of the area to benefit.
During the course of production, various government leaders made follow-up visits to see if the government funds have been implemented as planned. They are the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs leadership, led by Honorable Vincent Bamulanga Chisempija, the CDF Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Mbadi, the Ministry of Agriculture, led by Mr. Segawa, the Undersecretary, and the Committee of Parliament on Agriculture, led by the Chairperson, Honorable Okori Mo Janet.
I want to thank again this team for being very organized. Thank you for being very organized. Even the way you have made this arrangement, everything is well done.
So this is a very good expression of our capacity to secure Uganda, even in areas of a non-military nature.
We are, as ministers, very happy to see that something is already on the ground. And that is why we are here, to see how are we moving. We shouldn't let down the president, we shouldn't let down the cabinet, we shouldn't let down this country.
The UPDF mandate is to protect Uganda's interests at home and abroad, providing a safe and secure environment in which all Ugandan citizens can live and prosper. As per Article 209 of the Constitution of Uganda, one of the core functions of the UPDF is to engage in productive activities for the development of the country.
Of course, this is in line with our other function of the Constitution, given to us by the Constitution, of fostering harmony and understanding between ourselves and the civil population, so that we have peace.
The CPW farm projects have been a whole boost to social and economic empowerment for the local communities in which we operate.
The program has created jobs to the youth. It's a very, very, very productive project.
You see, UPDF is the army for the people. The cooperation within has helped us to mobilize people, not here within. We Kagadi, Hoima, Chukube, people have benefited.
At least we have 50 whom we have employed here permanently. And among 50, we have 10 women and 40 men. But besides that, we also receive others from outside who come every day, around 100, sometimes even go up to 200. They come and do the farm activities, they go back to their respective homes.
We could do at one time or one day bring 100 workers, 50 workers, or 150 workers a day, depending on their coming.
95% of the routes were not routes, were actually smaller pathways. But Chief emphasized the construction establishment of these farm routes and the connection of the farm to the nearest community. The community members have now shortcuts.
As with any huge undertaking, the CPW farms projects were not without any challenges.
The challenges we face, one is machinery, acquiring machinery. It's not an easy task.
The program was rolled out in August, and the CPW, we didn't have anything in place. We had to look for a panga and other equipment. But in the process, with the teamwork of my directors and the other junior staffs and the army leadership, plus my youth, they supported us. Let me give an example of Kabamba Farm. Kabamba Farm is in Mubende. You drive to those who are knowing that area to a place called Kasambia, and you drive inside about 10 kilometers. But that place didn't have a road. We had to create infrastructure. We had to work on the bridges. We had to look for all sorts of equipment, the tractors, which we didn't have. And it was a very big challenge.
Generally, the biggest challenge we have here on the farm is the inadequate machines to use. More so when it comes to spraying, like this problem of the fall armyworm.
And this is a commercial agriculture, commercial farming. You cannot rely on manual all the time. We have 1,550 acres. You cannot cultivate it on manual.
Particularly this month, this season, we had an invasion of armyworm. It had to go beyond the budget for pest management, crop protection.
You know, even the other time the drought was terrible.
So sometimes we can fail to get rain when you have already planted.
In all these farms, to me, you would really need irrigation.
Sasa hivi tunaelekea kwa dry season. Tunakuta kwamba mnyama zinakufa ovyo ovyo juu ya mchana, ugonjwa, mazua hayaonekane. Matatizo kama hayo, maji inateremka mpaka hadi kwa baharini. Baharini inakuwa mbali, kinachukua muda kwenda ng'ombe kufika huko. Unakuta kwamba tunapata matatizo kama hayo kila wakati.
Our land is not fenced. We have intruders from all directions. For example, in the eastern direction, I have like 20 intruders. Those cattle keepers always disturbs me. From the other side of rural industries, I have like 15. Another challenge, a lot of reptiles here. Pythons, venomous snakes, they always disturbs me a lot, but we are trying our best.
According to UN's Food and Agriculture Organization, Uganda's fertile agriculture land has the potential to feed 200 million people. 80% of Uganda's land is arable, but only 35% is being cultivated. With certain facilitations, this percentage can begin to move in the right direction.
If our authority can at least support this farm with machineries, farm machineries, right from tractor for plowing, harrows, planters, combine harvesters. You are seeing we have taken so far 2 weeks harvesting the soybean. But if we had combine harvester here, this is what combine harvester would have done in less than a week.
We have a permanent river around this garden of ours, actually a permanent river, so that if they can introduce the system of irrigation, I think we shall be better, and we promise to do better. UPDF will shine more.
If it is within the means of the stakeholders, the pesticides would be, or agro inputs would be subsidized in terms of costs. It would address a big gap.
You know, the cost of labor is very high outside there. So if we can have our own machines on farms, that would be very good, very good.
I think we need water for irrigation, we need roads, we need electricity.
I encourage Ugandans to go in for commercial farming. And when you talk about commercial farming, it must be mechanized because of the costs we put in. You cannot talk about commercial farming when you are going to use the hoes. No, no, no. You must have the tractors in place. And I encourage and I call upon Ugandans to love farming. There is no way you can leave out an issue of farming because every human being on us in Uganda must eat daily. But what are you going to eat when you don't do farming? So farming is a must. It's an issue which touches us.